The evening was cloaked in darkness, and a solitary figure named Sarah stood at the bus stop, awaiting the arrival of her late-night bus. The only source of light was a flickering street lamp that cast long, eerie shadows on the pavement. The chilly wind carried whispers that seemed to echo through the desolate surroundings. Sarah, a rational and pragmatic woman, tried to shake off the uneasy feeling as she focused on her phone, scrolling through social media to pass the time. Minutes turned into what felt like hours, and finally, the distant rumble of an approaching bus broke the silence. As the bus came to a halt, its flickering headlights revealed a seemingly empty interior. Sarah hesitated for a moment but decided to board, hoping for some warmth and respite from the cold night air. The bus driver, an indifferent soul with tired eyes, barely acknowledged her presence. Sarah walked down the narrow aisle, her footsteps echoing in the empty space. She chose a seat near the middle and settled in, glancing around the bus. That's when she noticed a shadowy figure at the back, barely discernible in the dim light. An unsettling feeling crept over her as she tried to make out the features of the mysterious passenger. The figure remained motionless, shrouded in darkness, and Sarah couldn't shake the sensation that someone, or something, was watching her. Determined to dispel her unease, she mustered the courage to address the enigmatic presence. "Hey, is everything okay?" Sarah called out, her voice echoing through the empty bus. No response. The figure remained still, its form an indistinct silhouette against the backdrop of the night. Growing increasingly uneasy, Sarah decided to approach. As she reached the back of the bus, she could see the figure more clearly, yet its features remained elusive. It seemed almost like a shadow without substance. "Who are you? What do you want?" Sarah asked, her voice tinged with a mixture of fear and frustration. Just as she was about to touch the figure, it dissolved into thin air, leaving Sarah standing alone in the eerily silent bus. The shadows seemed to dance mockingly around her as she grappled with the reality of what she had just witnessed. The bus continued its route with Sarah as the sole passenger. She couldn't shake off the feeling that the phantom presence had left an indelible mark on that bus, and the memory of that chilling encounter would forever haunt her every time she stood at the desolate bus stop in the dead of night. In a small town surrounded by misty hills, there stood a weathered bus stop, its presence accentuated by the flickering streetlight that struggled against the encroaching darkness. Tom, an elderly man with a lifetime of stories etched into his face, was a frequent visitor to this seemingly ordinary bus stop. One autumn evening, as the leaves rustled in the cool breeze, Tom noticed something unusual on the ground. A small, crumpled bus ticket, worn and faded with age, lay abandoned. Curiosity getting the better of him, he bent down to pick it up. Little did he know that this seemingly innocent act would unravel a tale of spectral torment. As Tom held the ticket in his hands, an inexplicable chill ran down his spine. The street lamp above flickered, casting elongated shadows that seemed to dance with malevolent intent. Ignoring the ominous signs, Tom pocketed the ticket, thinking little of the strange occurrence. That night, as Tom lay in bed, he began to hear faint whispers in the darkness. Ghostly voices seemed to resonate from the shadows, weaving tales of long-lost love and sorrow. At first, Tom dismissed them as figments of his imagination, remnants of a tired mind seeking rest. Days turned into nights, and the whispers persisted. The spectral voices grew louder, their haunting cadence echoing through the corners of Tom's mind. He began to catch fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures at the edge of his vision, their mournful gazes fixated upon him. Convinced that the source of his torment was the bus ticket, Tom attempted to rid himself of the haunted relic. He threw it away, burned it, and buried it, but no matter what he did, the whispers persisted, growing more insistent with each passing day. Haunted by the relentless spirits attached to the ticket, Tom's health began to deteriorate. Sleepless nights and perpetual anxiety took their toll on his once robust frame. It became apparent that the supernatural forces were inexorably linked to that fateful piece of paper. In a final act of desperation, Tom ventured back to the bus stop. With trembling hands, he set the accursed ticket ablaze, watching as the flames consumed it. As the last ember flickered out, a profound silence descended upon the bus stop. The spectral whispers ceased, and the shadows retreated into the night. From that day forward, Tom carried the weight of his paranormal ordeal, a cautionary tale for those who dared to pick up what seemed to be an innocuous bus ticket. The haunted echoes of that misty evening lingered at the bus stop, a spectral reminder of the thin veil between the ordinary and the supernatural. On a fog-laden evening, Mark found himself at the bus stop, his breath visible in the chilly air. The thick mist obscured the surroundings, casting an otherworldly ambience upon the otherwise mundane scene. Mark, a man intrigued by the mysteries of the supernatural, couldn't resist the allure of the eerie atmosphere. As he stood at the bus stop, Mark noticed a figure shrouded in mist at the far end. The stranger appeared to be lost in thought, his silhouette a haunting presence against the ethereal backdrop. Mark's curiosity overcame any apprehension, and he approached the mysterious stranger. "Hey there, do you need any help?" Mark asked, his voice cutting through the fog. The stranger turned slowly, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the mist. His voice, soft and cryptic, whispered words that sent shivers down Mark's spine. The stranger spoke of a long-lost love, a tale of heartbreak and tragedy that seemed to transcend time itself. Mark, captivated by the enigmatic narrative, listened intently as the stranger's words echoed in the fog. The atmosphere became charged with an otherworldly energy, and Mark felt an inexplicable connection to the haunting story. As the stranger reached the climax of his tale, he abruptly stopped speaking, leaving an unsettling silence in his wake. In that moment, the mist thickened, enveloping the bus stop in an impenetrable haze. Mark, disoriented and perplexed, strained to see through the swirling fog. To his astonishment, the stranger had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only the lingering echoes of his haunting story. Confused and unnerved, Mark hesitated before glancing around the fog-shrouded bus stop. The once quiet surroundings seemed to come alive with a spectral energy, as if the stranger's tale had awakened dormant spirits. Mark could almost feel the weight of their unseen gazes upon him. As the fog slowly dissipated, the bus arrived with a creaking sound, its headlights cutting through the remaining mist. Mark boarded the bus with a mixture of awe and trepidation, the haunting story still echoing in his mind. The bus pulled away from the enigmatic bus stop, leaving Mark to contemplate the vanishing stranger and the supernatural aura that clung to that misty evening. From that day forward, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that he had encountered something beyond the realm of the living at the fog-laden bus stop. The memory of the stranger's tale and his mysterious disappearance lingered, a ghostly enigma that would forever be etched into the fabric of that eerie place.